Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Konich-Yeehaw podcast. I'm Natalie.
And I'm Jared.
And on this episode, we want to talk about our experience at the last convention we went to, which was Weebcon.
Right.
So Weebcon was, for us, this was last weekend.
Yes.
It was Easter weekend also.
Yeah.
And it was at the Gaylord Texan Resort and Hotel Convention Center. Huge place. It's a huge place. It was only this convention's third year, which was very, very peculiar to us because of what the convention promised to have, what they did have.
Yeah.
It was all very legit. And for it to be this legit only 3 years in, and to be at such an amazing location.
Yeah.
We were kind of like, what's this going to really be like?
Yeah, it was kind of weird. Well, I still don't really get it. Like, there must be like some secret donor or something.
Yeah.
Because, so, the people that they invite, the number of large voice actors,
like big in the industry.
Yes. The location. They flew in
international guests.
And they also had well-known VTubers.
Right. So they had a
stacked lot
guest list. Yes. And then with the location itself, if anybody here has ever been to the Gaylord Texan, maybe for Christmas, because that's usually when most people would go visit the Gaylord, or when the public would go visit the Gaylord, it is a giant place.
Yeah.
And it's on a lot of land, so like you drive like kind of out and into it, and there's nothing around it. Like it's just this hotel. It's not like a hotel downtown.
Yeah,
right. Like this is a big location.
Yeah, I mean it has a biome inside of it. Like it has a tropical biome.
It has a tropical biome. It was very humid.
Yeah.
Because they were introducing the tropical plants for the season. It has like 4 restaurants, like 3 bars, boutiques.
Yeah.
Like it's like a
It's like a village.
It's like a little village in this. And we definitely I made some comments before, like, oh, the people who are like, oh, I'll just stay at the hotel that the convention's at, do not know what they're getting themselves into.
No, not
because like I said, I also think that it not being close to anything, like it forces you to spend your money there. Right? Yeah. If you're not close to anything, you can't just go walk or short drive to
from the nearest hotel.
Right. Although it is relatively close to a mall, so maybe that was nice for some people. But yeah, it was definitely kind of humorous. Even whenever we were walking on our first day, we heard guests checking in that were like, wow, this is not what I was expecting. So on our first day, we'll just go day by day.
Okay.
Right?
Well, before we go day by day, I want to like talk about some specific things.
Yeah, of course.
So like we said, the guest list stacked.
So stacked.
A couple of people that like I noticed were like the voice for Naruto. I think Vegeta's voice actor was there.
He's everywhere though.
Yeah, that's true.
He is everywhere.
I mean, just get it out of the way now. Troy Baker was there.
Yes, he was the top of the list.
Which was weird because it is so like I'd say that out of all of them, he's probably like the biggest voice actor, but he didn't have the longest line.
He did not have the longest line because also get out of the way, he's not primarily an anime voice actor.
No.
He does more video games and he does acting. Acting. Which is also another crazy thing. Essentially, you could say that he's done more variety of roles, right? But then you have that voice actress of Naruto, who has been doing the voice of Naruto for 11 years. Like, it's a different kind of, nostalgia, a different kind of level of... I mean, this is an anime convention, that's a big deal.
It is just kind of interesting to see that, like... And you even said it with, like, the Miles Morales voice actor. He was also there. He like, didn't have a line at all.
That was crazy to me that he, like, didn't have a line at all. Like, this was the Miles Morales. Like, for everything. And to me, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Actually, no, you're right. Let's go by day by day, and then we'll talk more about it.
Just to kind of integrate it. Yeah. So, first off, I'll also go ahead and get this out of the way. For us, this convention was very nice and easy for us because we
live down the road, essentially.
It's a 10 to 15 minute drive for us. It's very close. So that's just us. That's very nice for us. Most of the time when we do these DFW conventions, it's an hour drive. It's downtown Dallas, Fort Worth, somewhere a bit further. But this was nice because it was a 10-minute drive, 10 to 15-minute drive. So get that out of the way. Now, our first day, we went to pick up our badges. That was the first thing we did. And
we got there pretty much at opening.
Kind of. We did. So we got
there at like 10:30.
At like 10:30. Yeah. So they had the convention open at 10, but from 10 to noon, it was just supposed to be badge pickup. So there were no panels. The dealer/artist alley was not open yet. This time was just to arrive, take pictures with other people, meet up, and get your badge.
Yeah.
Right.
Which for us was very easy.
Yes.
But
we heard some.
What I heard,
we're on the Twitter. We're on the Twitter constantly looking at the tags of WeebCon 2023. Some people were in line for hours. I guess.
Yeah.
Which was not our case.
You know what? I wonder if so whenever we first got there, before the dealer's room opened, there was just huge mob of people outside the dealer's room. And I wonder if they got in that line thinking it was, because we helped direct people to while we were waiting for the dealer's room, we helped direct people to the badge pickup. And so I wonder if people stood in the dealer's room line
and thought it was badge
thinking
pickup.
It was badge pickup.
That's definitely a possibility. Whenever we entered I looked for people who did not have badges yet. Yeah. If you had a badge, I wasn't going to stand behind you because you're probably doing something that needs a badge, right? So I waited until I saw people with no badges, and that's how we found the line. Granted, this line was very disorganized. There was nobody telling you where it started, where it ended, what direction it should snake.
It was a very obvious this is only their third year because there was no tape on the floor.
There's no tape on the floor.
That is a very
there's always tape on the floor.
Very important thing for anime conventions, especially badge pickup.
Yes. Yes, definitely. So we found our way, essentially. Yeah. We found our way, and it was easy. It was, QR code scanning. Here you go. Enjoy your convention. That was it. Now, because it was so fast for us, we still had an hour before the dealer's room was supposed to open.
Yeah, so it was supposed to open at noon.
At noon. So we went and we did our picture thing, right? And you hadn't been to the Gaylord.
Yeah.
So I have been to the Gaylord for Christmas. Like I mentioned, a lot of people go visit the Gaylord during Christmas because they host these really big Christmas events. So I actually want to say that I know the Gaylord pretty well, at least as far as where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
Convention center wise. So I was like, I got to show you the biome because that's where it's happening.
Yeah.
So I showed you around the biome. We took our pictures. It got really sweaty because it was humid. And then we are like, okay, it's supposed to open in 15 minutes. Let's go back up. So we do. And at first, we thought there was a line to get in. It
kind of seemed like a line. There was lines of people, but not necessarily a line to get in.
Right. So that part was confusing. Anyway, we're going to fast forward, though, to maybe 12:15. The people are the staff is yelling at us and we can't hear them. That's just how that is. Yeah. The staff is yelling at us and we can't really hear them. But they were trying to get the VIPs in. So if you paid for the VIP badge, you were supposed to get in. Now, the reason why that sucks is because they just announced that the dealer's room was going to open at noon. They didn't say noon for VIP.
Yeah.
You know?
And it had already been past noon at this point, and then they were like, okay, only VIPs can go in. And it was for like 15 minutes, something like that.
So it wasn't until 12:30 that everybody was actually able to get in. So that was kind of annoying.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, but whatever.
Yeah, it wasn't that big a deal.
It wasn't that big of a deal. So we get in, and before this, we were kind of... So I went into this convention knowing that I needed Troy Baker to sign my copy of The Last of Us. Mm-hmm. Okay? I was prepared. I brought the sleeve for the game. I was like, I need this. Like, this is my opportunity, you know? Because when is he going to show up at an anime convention again? So the first thing we actually do is find his booth.
Yeah.
We need to like scurry, because some of the VAs were already there. Yeah. They were already seated and they were ready for the crowd, right? Troy Baker was not there yet. But we did find his booth. We looked at his pricing sheet, and then we were like, okay. And some people did start lining up for him like already, but we were like, okay, we're going to remember this and come back in a little bit. So then we did our dealer's room, our sorry thing. Yes. So the dealer's room. Yes.
So not the best. Just put that out of the way. We have been spoiled by
Anime Frontier.
The thing is that it wasn't small.
It was not small.
I've definitely seen smaller dealers' room. Mm-hmm. But the quality of things that was there. The
quality, the variety.
Yes. So a weird thing about it is that, so typically how a dealer's room works is that you have the dealers, which sell licensed merch, in one section, and then you have the artist alley, which has original content for the most part, work, independent artists, things like that, in another section. Sometimes they're in completely different rooms.
Right.
For this convention, they were kind of mixed in together.
Super mixed in.
So, like, you could have one booth that was an artist that was between two vendors, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of it was kind of annoying to try to, like, be like, okay, I'm looking for figures, but I guess I'm in the artist section.
Right.
And then it's like, I'm trying to find artists, but all I see is Funko Pops.
Right, exactly. On the map that they showed of like the layout of the room, it was supposed to be the back whole row was artists and then everything else was dealers. That's what it showed. It did not give that feeling.
Yeah,
everything
definitely not.
Was very mixed in, and there were artists there that I recognized that were definitely in the quote unquote dealer section.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was, that part felt disorganized. Yeah. For sure. But regardless, we do our little snake, right? We get through it. So we say that the variety was weird.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of Funko Pops.
So I'm like worried about this. Because
about it becoming too big?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Funko Pops will always be a thing.
Yeah.
Now that they've been released, they have anime versions of Funko Pops. They will, be a thing. Now, I will say that one of the reasons why I think Funko Pops were probably really big at this convention was because there are so many voice actors.
Yes. And they advertised it.
They did.
They absolutely capitalized. They were Funko Pop dealers that pulled out the Funko Pops of the people that they knew were going to be there and had signs that say, "Get this Funko Pop signed."
Which I will also say, it does say I didn't see any like signage for this, like at the actual convention, but on the convention website, it does say that Funko Pops, you will have to pay more to get those signed.
Yes, and I also saw that a lot of voice actors who do sign them ask what your name is, so they put your name on it.
Yeah.
So it makes it harder to resell.
Oh, I didn't see that.
At a higher value. So I saw somebody who got like 4 Funko Pop signed, and all of them from different voice actors, they all say to their name. I see what you mean. I'm like, I'm sure that's so that it's harder to resell it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure it
Makes
is.
Sense.
Anyway, lots of Funko Pops.
And then
not our thing.
So
Sorry.
yeah, it's not really our thing. There were a couple of stuffed animal sellers.
I could have done with more. I mean, I could have done with more.
And then the thing that got me is that, so I look for Gunpla, I look for anime figures. Not really a lot of Gunpla sellers, which I expected that. I expected that Anime Frontier was the Gunpla
store.
Yes, it was
the Gunpla convention.
Yeah, the Gunpla convention. So I wasn't super looking for any, but anime figures. There was not a large variety of them.
No, there wasn't.
So you'd see a lot of the same figures at every booth. And it was just a little disappointing because I don't exactly buy the most, I'd say, mainstream figures. So looking for figures that I want is a little more difficult, and it makes it even more difficult whenever there's not a variety whenever everyone's selling the same thing.
Right.
For example, there's one brand of Demon Slayer figures right now that every single booth has.
Of course. Yeah. Yes.
And same with some of the Spy X Family figures.
Spy X Family, Demon Slayer.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will say this though. There was one vendor that did have a large variety of figures. If you've ever been to an anime convention before, you have seen these types of vendors before, and they are red flags.
They're red flags. They have
So it's going to be the very large black shelves, very
plastic,
large.
Yeah. Tall.
And they have tape wrapped around them.
Tape wrap around or saran wrap, something like that.
And it says, do not touch.
Yes. And they travel with them like that. That's
yes.
the reason, is that they travel with them packaged like that.
Yes. And those are huge red flags because they are always super overpriced.
Yes.
I found a figure there that I wanted, and it goes for about $30 to $35 online, and it was $150 at that booth. So...
Yeah. Big red flags.
Yeah,
and it was unfortunate because they did have the figures that were more quote unquote unique, the ones that weren't sold everywhere else. They did have that edge going for them.
They did.
It's just really unfortunate that
they were super overpriced.
Very overpriced.
Artist Alley.
I was gonna bring up one more thing. Sorry, because we were talking about variety / lack of variety. Yeah. There were also some weird things. Let's talk about the weird things that were there. So, first of all, there seems to be now a new trend of having the Itachi car show inside. Yeah. I'm okay with it. I'm fine with it. That doesn't bother me.
Really? Was the Itachi car show outside at Akon?
Yeah.
Okay, because the only conventions I've seen it outside are at Ikikon.
Really?
Every other convention
I'm not
I've
used
seen
to
inside.
Yeah, I was not used to having or seeing it inside. I was always used to seeing it outside.
Itachi car show, it's those cars, usually sports cars, that are decked out in anime decals.
Yeah, they usually pick a character and it's like their theme, you know. Yeah. It's like a big eat-a bag for them. So
that's a good comparison.
So that's there. That's whatever. Okay. There was somebody cutting hair.
Oh, yeah. There was a guy cutting hair.
There was a guy who was cutting hair, who was giving out haircuts.
Yeah.
And he would give out haircuts, but then he also cut wigs, and you could buy his already pre-styled wigs. Yeah. Very interesting. Interesting thing to see.
There was a mechanical bull.
There was a mechanical bull. I have never seen that. First of all, that's genius. Yeah. That's genius to have at a Texas anime convention. That's genius. It just makes sense. Yeah. You know? But I've never seen one before, at a convention like that.
Yeah. There were people, they were called waifu cups, I think.
Oh, the sports drinks? Or the energy drink?
It was like an energy drink in a tiny cup that you could buy. I didn't even look at the prices, but let me tell you, it was a tiny cup.
It's a tiny cup, and people were really into them. Yeah. So there were also some kind of weird things, right, that were unique. Oh, and the photo booths.
Oh, yeah.
So I I've never seen photo booths set up like this. So there were two locations for these photo booths. One of them was in the exhibition hall.
I actually think they were two different people, surprisingly enough.
Oh, like two different companies?
Yeah.
That would make sense. Regardless. So this one in the exhibition hall was like in a big square. Had a big square blocked off. And they just had like different sets where your anime character might be. So like a traditional Japanese home. Clouds is very popular, mostly because it's so plain. Like you can put anybody in clouds and it's a cute picture, right? So maybe more futuristic neon lights, a back alley, like all these different kind of places where you might want to pose. And that's really nice because even though the Gaylord had a lot of scenic locations to take pictures, it's fun to see if you can maybe find a place where your character would actually be. To take a picture.
It is cool.
That's pretty cool.
It was also free.
It was free, which was so lovely. So thank you to the people who put that together. That was really nice.
Because there were some in the dealer's room.
Yeah.
And then there was also some in the hallway outside of the ballrooms.
Yes. So we were thinking that those are two different people. The only, I would say 3 sets. Let's say 3 sets were really similar.
Yeah.
It was the clouds. Both of them had clouds, although they were shaped differently.
They were.
They both had some form of traditional Japanese house tea set thing. Although I made the joke that one of them didn't have cups, so what were you going to pour the tea into? And then the other one is some sort of forest scene. Now, one of them had like more woodland forest and the other one had like mushroom forest. So that was different, but it was some sort of forest scene. But what else? There was a back alley. There was classroom, which I thought was really cool. And
I think that was about it.
Was that it?
Yeah, the chess with the columns.
Yes, the chess with the columns, more classic looking. But
ready for your Code Geass cosplays.
Yeah, but that was really nice, and they're both free, so that's cool. But you want to talk about artists? Sorry.
The artists. I do not want to be shady with this. I am speaking through my own perspective.
Yes, artist subjective.
Not all of them were the best.
Not all of them were the best.
I'm really curious as to how they picked their artists. Because, I don't know the full process of an artist alley, but I know the gist that, like, you submit your request, and then in some way or form, they accept you, whether it be raffle or through... voting process, committee, I don't know, anything like that. But you are chosen. Some of the art, I'll be outright. Some of the art I am very surprised to see at a convention. It was just not quite the quality that everyone else had, or that I'm used to. Yes. There was also at this convention specifically, there was also a good level of, like, NSFW artists.
There were so many titties and ass. Big titties and big ass.
Yeah, and it wasn't like here's a couple of them like this, or here's my NSFW section. It was the entire booth.
Huge booths. Yeah. Which... isn't really for us.
Yeah, it's not for us.
It's not for us.
There's definitely an audience there.
Oh, for sure.
They probably sell out, but it's just interesting to see so many of them.
Yes.
One of our friends pointed out that SakuraCon was also this weekend,
but it is out of state.
Weekend, but it is out of state, so there could be a lot of, like, artists that went to that.
Yes, because it is a more established convention.
Yeah.
But yeah, not trying to be shady with your art. Some of it, what seemed pretty intermediate. And there were a lot of titties. It was very surprising. And absolutely nothing caught my eye, which kind of made me sad.
Yeah. I got 2 posters, but I'm kind of mostly got them because they were tokusatsu, which is like Japanese live action shows. And
this artist is really cool.
Yeah, the artist's pretty good.
We've seen him at multiple conventions.
We've gotten stuff from him.
We've gotten stuff from him before.
So I'd never seen any of that at an anime convention before. So I was like, well, I might as well get it.
Mm-hmm. And it's good stuff.
Because I also hadn't bought anything yet.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, might as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we do our little walk around. Oh my goodness. Okay, you know what we do next? We go get food.
Oh my god.
We go get food. Okay. So once again, to reiterate, the Gaylord itself is around nothing.
Yeah.
You are forced to be there unless you want to drive. Oh my god, we didn't even talk about parking.
Yes.
We'll talk about
parking.
We'll get to parking. I'll get to parking in a second. Okay. Yes. So basically you can't leave. Let's just say that.
Yeah, pretty much you can't leave.
Yeah. So your options are either the really nice restaurants in the hotel, which I'm sure had good food.
Yeah.
I'm sure that the food was great. I saw pictures people posting pictures of the food. It did look good. Or you have the convention food. So the convention food is usually your pizza, your hot dog,
awfully
popcorn,
overpriced.
Your
terribly
popcorn,
overpriced.
Terribly overpriced. So it was my sibling. I'm going to go ahead and blame them.
Yes, I completely blame them.
My sibling, who was with us, got really hungry and was like, I need pizza. And I was like, are you sure you want to do this? Because this pizza is $13 for like a personal size pizza. And they were like, yes, I want to do this. And I said, okay. So we sat in line because there was a
long line.
It's a pretty long line. I went ahead and got one too because we were going to split it. But they said they wanted their own.
Yeah.
I let them do their thing. We got our pizza. They brought it out to us. My pizza was cold.
I cannot express this.
It was
as much.
So gross.
I think this is the worst pizza I've ever eaten in my life.
It was so gross. The convention food was so gross. My sibling could not even my sibling just ate the crust, the bread. Like they were like, this is disgusting. So it was a bad situation.
Yeah.
It was a bad situation. But we did it. We committed to the eating. We learned our lesson and we didn't do that again. So, but after this, we had about 30 minutes. No, we had an hour. Mm-hmm. We had about an hour before our panel because we only had one panel planned for that day. Well, no, actually, that's a lie.
Yeah.
Panel.
Yeah.
Panel.
Yeah.
We had one panel and it was a game. It was a game thing. So we had a discussion and we decided that it would be best to go and see Troy Baker on the first day, on Friday, because his line was probably going to be really long on Saturday. Mm-hmm. So we did that. We stuck out in line. And like I said, it wasn't a long line. It moved really smoothly.
Maybe max 30 minutes.
Yes, it was not very long. And I did it. I got my autograph. Mm-hmm. I got my handshake. I was starstruck. All that good stuff. And then we went to our panel.
Could not record her getting her handshake because that would have cost extra.
Everything was very priced. Yeah. And his manager was right there, so I wasn't going to mess with it. And we asked her, we talked to her about it, and she did seem like she felt bad. Maybe because we were so nice about it and not trying to
I think she probably felt bad because what the recording is for is him doing a personal message.
Yes.
But it would still be considered us recording him. Yeah. And so, yeah.
I was honestly the one who was trying to maybe fight the little line that was there, but she seemed really uncomfortable with the question. So I was like, it's fine, never mind it's fine. It's really fine. Regardless, we go to our panel. It is a Neon Genesis trivia show.
Yes.
It's a Kahoot put on by fans. And it was fun. It was fun. First of all, it let us see the panel rooms, which are very small.
It was the tiniest panel room I've ever been in. It did not have a projector.
It didn't have a projector.
Or a pull-down screen.
Yeah, it was so tiny. And
it was like the size of our apartment.
Our living room, yeah.
Our living room.
It really was. It was really tiny. But not a lot of, it got pretty full, but not unbearable. It was fun.
Yeah.
I won third place. Woo. Well,
You won third place, then first place.
Yeah, I would say it was a team effort, the third place win, though, because we consulted with each other. They had 2 rounds. One was just general trivia, and then the second was products.
Yes.
Which the haha joke was that it was supposed to be a true or false, is it real or is it not real? Mm-hmm. And the haha joke was that they were all real.
Yeah.
So, once you figure that out, you just start spamming.
Yeah,
which is why I got first. It wasn't like that deserved, so I gave up my prize. I already got my other prize. I was fine with it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. Just, I've mentioned in the past that I like little games like that at conventions. That's how I like to spend my time. So that was fun. And then we went home.
Then we went home to take care of our dog.
Yes. And in this intermission, I would like to talk about parking.
Yes.
So parking at the convention center on the first day was $17. You would go up to the garage that is at the hotel. There was a person there, take your $17, and then they gave you a ticket. Yeah. Gave you a ticket, and they said if you leave, you have to pay it again. So, and yeah, whatever we left, we just inserted the ticket, the gate open.
Not even.
Oh yeah, we just gave
the gate was open and we just gave the ticket to them.
Yeah, and they were like goodbye, and we said goodbye. Now, with that being said, we were committed to paying for parking again later that evening because we wanted to go to late night stuff. We just wanted to come home to eat a proper dinner, take care of our dog, and then go back to the convention. Once again, all possible because this is a 15-minute drive. Yeah. All possible because this is a 15-minute drive. What also made this all possible, we get back to the convention center and somebody forgot their badge. So we had to...
That was the second day. That wasn't the first day.
It was the first day. Because why would we go back?
No, because in the first day, we went back to the parking garage. It was the second day that we... Oh, wait. No, you're right.
Yeah, I know I am. Okay, so somebody forgot their badge, so we had to drive back. Once again, all possible because of how close we are. Also, with all this being said, though, we didn't have to pay. Not that we're complaining. Yeah. But we didn't have to pay. Everything was just open. They didn't care. So that's nice, I guess. We got tickets to get in, but then the gate was just open to leave. Yeah. So, whatever. The first thing we go to is a rap concert. Mm-hmm. Which is cool.
It was fun.
It's cool that they have that kind of entertainment, I will say. Yeah. Something beyond idols, something beyond things like that. They had rap. Yeah. One of the rappers was really good.
I wish
I
had his name.
He's on Spotify. His name was started with a D.
It's like...
Travis? Something Travis?
No, he had a unique first name.
Yeah, no, but talking about his last name.
Oh. I'll talk about the other rappers. The other rappers were not so good. The main MC guy, or the DJ, or they called him DJ, but he wasn't DJing. He was very loud, and he had his mic right up to his face, and it was very loud.
It was very loud.
The music was also very loud. Yes. Then there was a girl, which I was glad to see. Mm-hmm. I thought that was cool that they didn't just have guys.
Yeah, for sure.
She is also all of these people are like weeb rappers. Like they rap about weeb stuff. Mm-hmm. And she wasn't bad. Like she had
the flow, man.
She had the flow. She was like a fast rap. Mm-hmm. But she did this weird thing, like where she would like rap and then she would go, aha.
Yeah, it's their thing.
Yeah, which I'm like, okay, rappers have their things, especially like female rappers. Mm-hmm. And then there's one guy that he was just there, like
he was just there. I think he was just kind of learning the.
I think that he might do something for them, like he might be like their tech guy or something. Mm-hmm. And so, but his main purpose of being there was to sing happy birthday for the female rapper.
Yes, it was her birthday.
Yes, very nice. It was her birthday, so that was cool. Mm-hmm. I think I just remembered the guy's name.
You looked him up on Spotify. It might be in your whatever in your history. But yeah, he was really cool. He like has established stuff on Spotify, obviously.
It was yep, I remembered it.
Yeah.
It was Nevos Tyler.
Nevos Tyler. I knew it in last name with the T.
Yes, Nevos Tyler. He was good.
Shout out Nevos Tyler.
Yeah.
You were impressive. I was feeling you.
Yeah, he has like Spotify and his own website and music videos, things like that.
Yeah. Shouts out to him.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, we stayed for the variety show.
Yeah.
Which is usually code for burlesque.
Yeah, which it was.
Which it was. Most part. For the most part, it was burlesque. So this is supposed to be an 18-plus show. I'm not actually sure if anybody checked that.
Yeah, I don't
By the way, so. But because we just stayed in the room.
Okay, so
it was back to back the rap concert and then the show, and we just stayed.
Yeah, the rap concert went over by like 30 minutes.
Yeah, so the variety show did start late.
Yeah.
Not too late, but it did start late, and it was, I guess you could say, understandable.
So there was one like kind of weird thing, like right at the beginning, which I thought was what you were just talking about. So the like cleanup guy, he was dressed up as Space Dandy, and like he at like the very beginning, like 7 minutes or so before they start, he like goes to the front of the stage and he's like, "Look at all those babies." And so I thought that he meant, look at all those underage people. You need to get out because this is 18 plus.
Yeah, but no. From what I can tell, nobody did anything about that.
Yeah.
But I'm not a mother.
Yeah.
And I was in the front, so I didn't have to look at them. So I don't care. It wasn't my job. So, but the variety show. We have been spoiled by a different convention that had an amazing variety show performance to where now I am not trying to the people who did this variety show, I can tell, don't do this for a living. It is a hobby, and whenever it's a hobby, kind of doesn't matter if you're good or bad at it, if that makes sense. Once again, not trying to diss, it does take a lot of confidence to put yourself out there like that. It really does. And for the most part, weebs are just there to cheer because they know. They know. You know what I mean? They know that it's hard.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not gonna like. I'm not also still not throwing shade. Like, the average weeb has lower standards. Like, they are any girl, any female presenting person works for them. So regardless of how you do, how you look, you will get cheers. You will get cheers.
So the MC was pretty entertaining. She was a good MC.
She was. She was cosplaying as Panther from from Persona 5.
Yes, and she was the opening act. She did singing. And she was good. Yeah. I would say that any issues, I would blame the audio, the microphone. She was a good singer.
Yeah.
And she just did the Persona song.
Yeah.
Right? She introduced the people, kept the show rolling. And like I said, for the most part, the acts were good.
Yeah.
They were good. Nothing was terrible.
They were funny if nothing
else. The one that did the least was probably the Waluigi.
Yeah, there was a Waluigi, and he just kind of shook around.
Yeah, he just
shook
kind of
his hips.
Yeah, he just kind of stood around and like did his thing, but that's fine. Anyway.
There was a little awkward burlesque part, and that was because she was cosplaying. I think it's pronounced Chibiusa, which is the small Sailor Moon. The baby Sailor Moon.
Yes. So here's the issue. Is that she was the most talented, the most practiced burlesque performer.
Mm-hmm.
She knew her cues. She had her reveals practiced, and she executed all of that very well.
Yeah.
She did. But she was baby Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
And they kept saying things like, she's not a baby anymore.
She's all grown. She wants to show that she's all grown up.
And for us, that's weird.
Yeah, and they kept showing like the character in the background.
Yeah, they had like videos of the character in the background.
This is a baby. This is a child.
This is a child. So that's like, that was a little awkward. And like I said, once again, because I mean, she did do really well.
Yeah, and she got pretty bare.
She got very bare. She got the most bare. Yes, I would say. She got the most bare.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna bring up the cowgirl.
Oh yeah, I was gonna bring up a couple things.
Okay, yeah.
There's another performer that, bless her heart.
Bless her heart.
She definitely did not practice with those shoes on because her pants got stuck.
And it's okay. We all still cheered. We all still clapped.
Yeah.
Everything was fine. You know.
Then there was Among Us.
Oh, I really like the Among Us one.
The Among Us one was funny.
The Among Us one, just because it was funny. Once again, variety shows, it usually is code for burlesque, but that does not mean that it is necessarily burlesque. There were definitely acts that were not burlesque. Although I guess you could maybe even count that as burlesque. She just didn't.
She danced, but she didn't strip.
She danced, but she didn't strip. Still very good. And then
there's also a girl that gave a PowerPoint presentation on why Hatsune Miku is best waifu, and then she did a little song and dance.
Yes, she actually did 2 songs.
It
was
that was her second half.
Yeah,
second half. This was the variety show was split into 2 halves.
Yeah, there's intermission.
We only stayed for about half of the second half because it was already midnight.
Yeah, we were tired, sleepy. But yeah, I mean, overall, variety shows are usually fun.
Yeah.
And I applaud the people who can put themselves out there like that. I think doing a variety show would be fun. Yeah. And we had that discussion, but I don't know.
And that was all for day 1.
I know. We spent a lot of time talking about day 1. Oh,
it's okay. Goodness. The rest is going to go by quicker.
You're right. So day 2. Let's go ahead and just jump right into it. We had to park further away.
Yes.
So the parking, first of all, for some reason was $18 that day. They raised it by $1. Whatever. We had to park in a parking garage that was further away, but not terrible. Not terrible. Still attached to the hotel. We were late to our panel in the morning. We were late by, not by many minutes. No. But with that being said, it was full by the time we got there. It was full because these panel rooms are tiny. And when we got there, people were standing against the wall. And we were like, never mind. Like, it's fine. We don't have to. Mm-hmm. So that's actually, we didn't go to any panels that day.
We didn't?
We didn't.
Oh.
Because
oh yeah, that's right.
That happened, and then we were like, okay, well, that was that.
Day 2, we passed out eggs.
We passed out eggs. Yes, I dressed up as the main character Nagomi from Akiba Maid Wars, and I had they're pig maids. They look like pigs, and I had a pig Easter basket that we put with eggs. Eggs with candy, and then QR codes for this podcast. So if you are watching this because you got an egg, welcome.
Thank you.
And thank you. Yes, thank you. I'm an introvert, like many weebs, and I needed help passing out eggs.
Yeah.
Because I am not good at approaching people. But that's okay. Mm-hmm. With that being said, though, I did get approached.
You did?
I got approached by a real maid. Oh my goodness. My heart skipped a beat when she found me.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, oh my goodness. So, wait a sec. Oh my goodness. She's gone. Shouts out to maid Sumi, who saw me and was like, oh my goodness, I love that anime. Can I take a picture with you? This is a real maid who is in a real cafe in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Like, oh my goodness.
Which, side note, they flew out maids from Akihabara as well. And they ran the maid cafe.
Yes.
Which is insane.
Yes. So this maid that I met is from the Asayoru Cafe in Los Angeles. Once again, still somebody who flew out. It's very cool. And she was very sweet. I was very starstruck. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm being recognized by a real professional in the industry. I'm just a silly cosplayer. But yes, the Maid Cafe was a collaborated effort by local people and people that were flown in.
Insane.
Which is absolutely insane that you flew out maids from Akihabara.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they flew out 3 maids.
It's like the 3 main maids
and it's
of the company, too.
Main maids of the company. Like this maid, I went and I looked at this maid's Instagram, the one that I met, and she is like fangirling over the main maid. Like, absolutely, right? Like, that's crazy. Anyway, so that's, once again, guest list stacked. Incredible.
Yes. Yeah.
So, but that was just like, we ran into her. We went and we did our Artist Alley things. Once again, we took our pictures. It was pretty standard for the most part.
Yeah. Took pictures, did some more shopping.
Yes.
One thing to note about this convention, there are plenty of places to sit.
Yes.
There are plenty of, because we did quite a bit of sitting.
We did do quite a bit of sitting. I do not know if this was, I'm going to assume that this was at the part of the convention itself, not the hotel. Game library.
Yes.
I know we didn't take part of the game library, but that's so nice.
Yeah.
That they have all of these tables and chairs set up, kind of like dining hall style, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's all really random. And then there was a game library where you could go and check out Uno or
Board
Catan
games.
or whatever. And if you just needed to pass the time, you could do that.
Yeah.
Which was really nice.
Right.
We did do a lot of sitting. We did a lot of people watching.
Mm-hmm.
Pass out eggs, all that good stuff. So, the thing that we wanted to do next was the fashion show.
Yes.
And it was running behind.
It's running behind.
By quite a bit.
Yes.
And we were really tired that day. I guess we're just not as young as we used to be. And we didn't want to wait, so we left.
Yeah.
That's kind of it. We didn't want to wait, so we left. We headed home earlier than we anticipated. And that was that day.
Yeah, did we have something planned for the evening?
We were going to watch, or we were going to listen to the hentai reading.
Oh, yeah. Hilarious hentai dubs.
That was the last one. The last thing we were going to do.
Which I've seen at another convention. It's really funny. But, oh well.
Yeah. So then, last day, Sunday.
Yes.
Easter Sunday. Very important to note. Because, we forgot to mention this. So, there were a lot of people not in cosplay there.
Yes.
There were a lot of weebs there for the convention, but not in cosplay. That isn't to say that there weren't a lot of cosplayers. We just noticed that there were also... The ratio was off, quote unquote, off from what we are used to. Totally fine if it's not what you're into, the cosplay thing. But it was just something that we definitely noticed. But what I am about to lead into is that since it was Easter Sunday and the Gaylord is a place that hosts holiday events... there were a lot of non-convention goers there on Sunday.
Yes.
Like, people with their families, you know. And we were also there. So, not that we weren't in cosplay that day.
Yes. Which leads to another thing. Their parking garages were full.
I don't think they were full.
Oh, yeah?
No. I do not think they were full. I think they didn't want us there anymore.
Oh, yeah.
I think that they were like, we have an Easter event that is for rich families and they need priority parking. So they would not allow us into the garages. That's why I don't think they were full. We weren't even allowed. Yeah. Like, we didn't go to the second garage. So there's one garage that's really close to the convention center. That's where we parked the first day. Yeah. Then we had to park in the second garage, which is further away. And
I think is technically valet parking.
Which is technically valet parking. And then on the third day, they were like, don't come near us. Yeah. Essentially. They were like, do not come near us. They had overfill parking way far away.
Yeah, at least a 30-minute walk.
It was quite the walk, yes. And I know people had to park there for the convention, and I don't really know why on the previous days. Yeah. Obviously, I didn't talk to any of them. But I do not know why they parked there the previous days. Yeah. And I saw a lot of people complaining about having to park there the previous days. And in my mind, once again, I'm not trying to I don't know your feelings, I don't know your situation. But there was a parking garage that was available, and I don't know why you had to park all the way that way. Yes. But on Sunday, we all had to park out there.
Yes, which we didn't because it was $18.
It was still $18. Like, The Gaylord is there to take your money.
Yeah.
They're there to snatch your money up. And once the poor parking attendant was like, it's $18, we were like, okay, so how do we leave? And I'm not going to say where we parked because a lot of people did it. And I would like to keep it a secret. But we did find parking closer.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm going to say about it. So we had a little walk. Definitely the furthest we had to park. But we had a little walk. And we continued about our day. So we missed the first panel?
Yes, we missed the first panel.
Because of the parking situation. We missed the first panel because of the parking situation. We were trying to figure that out. It's fine. We did our... I don't even think we really bought anything our last day. We just kind of walked around. Yeah. We just kind of enjoyed the convention for what was left, you know? And then we had one more panel. Which was
the highlight for me.
The absolute highlight. It was called History of Gundam and Geass. And here's the thing. So the convention didn't have descriptions for the ballroom panels.
Yeah.
Which maybe was supposed to be like obvious what it was going to be. You know, like if the Ghibli anniversary, like obviously they're going to talk about Ghibli. And one of the headline international guests, which I'm going to talk about just now, is Chief Production Officer for Ghibli. Once again, huge, right? Mm-hmm. Huge. But this panel was just called History of Gundam and Geass. And we even thought that the cosplayer at the front of the door was going to be the one running it.
Yeah.
She was not. She was just really excited to be there. Bless her heart. So it was run by Hirokatsu Kihara, who is the Chief Production Officer for Ghibli. He was there mostly for Ghibli-related things. That's how he was advertised to be there. Because everybody loves Ghibli. Right? Everybody loves Ghibli. But he was the one who ran this panel, and it was just him. It was him and his translator. And he was there to highlight never-before-seen sketches and concept drawings of both Gundam Seed and Code Geass.
Yes, which I was very excited for.
Yes.
He worked, I believe he worked in setting design for both of those shows. And I am a very big Geass fan. I am a huge Code Geass fan. And so it was super cool seeing so he had the setting, the reference drawings for Code Geass and Gundam Seed. He didn't have all of them, obviously, because he was explaining that usually after production, they just get thrown away. Yep. And so he just snatched up the ones that he could. Mm-hmm. And then he also, for Code Geass, he got drawings from the character designer.
Yes, so the character designer, Takehiro Kimura, who has sadly passed. He passed at the beginning of March this year. Mm-hmm. And it was still a heavy topic for him because as he explained, this was a very good friend of his. It was someone who he respected a lot in the industry. And he definitely was on a mission to spread his greatness, to preserve his legacy as one of the greatest animators and character designers ever.
Yeah, he talked a lot about how hand-drawn drawings and art conveys more expression, more intensity than any other form.
Yes, and he showed us the drawings, and I mean it was really incredible stuff. Really incredible. Takehiro Kimura was very talented, and he did get emotional, and the people who were there with him also we were sitting behind them, his entourage, we call them his entourage, and they were getting emotional as well. And he just had a lot of great things to say about him. And he even did his little prayer up to him. And he was like, Takehiro Kimura, the people of Texas love you. They know you. They see you.
Because he was talking about, he was like, these are two shows that are incredibly popular in Japan. But I don't know if they're popular in Texas. Yeah. So this is going to be really awkward if they're not.
But no, the fans were there. They were loving it. Oh my God. The cosplayer that I was saying who showed up and was very excited, he came up to her and he showed her the sketches of her character and was like, I mean, in Japanese, the translator had to like kind of intervene because he did it very spur of the moment because he got excited too. You know, he was very happy to be there.
God, okay, so I wish that anime conventions were able to post their schedules earlier than they do, other than like the week before, because I would love to go to a panel like that in cosplay for whatever show they talk about. Yeah. Like, I would have loved to make a Konich-Yeehaw cosplay for it.
Right.
But oh well.
Yeah, I know. But very cool panel. He was very happy to see us. He took a
group photo. He took a group photo.
Yes, he wanted a group photo with all of us. He was like, I got to show all my colleagues back in Japan how much the people of Texas love Gundam and Konich-Yeehaw and mechs and whatever. But that was like perfect. That was like the wrap up for us, you know. I mean, I made us go walk around a little bit more just because I wanted to walk around a little bit more. We had some time to kill. Yeah. But that was really the ending for us. And it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In conclusion, this is a very disorganized convention. It is still just their third year, so I'll give them a little bit of slack. The sellers, not exactly the best. But the invited guests and the panels make it a convention worth going to. Yes. Because this is some of the best that I've seen at a convention.
Yes. And even the ones that
I forgot to mention that they also brought in a lot of like famous VTubers.
Oh my goodness.
But like this is like a VTuber convention.
It was a VTuber convention. Like, I know. We didn't even talk about it. It's just because we don't care.
We don't care about VTubers, but like that's the only thing you see on Twitter whenever you look up Weebcon on Twitter. It's just about VTubers.
Everyone was very excited to meet their favorite VTuber. Anyway, but I was going to speak also about the panels that we didn't go to. There was a large variety. And I know that whenever we went to Frontier, for example, we were kind of disappointed at the variety of the panels. Yeah. And at this one, it seemed like, I mean, you had the games, you had the 101s, you had the histories of, you had you had it all, and it was great. It was great.
There was also a lot of meetups.
A lot of scheduled meetups, yes, with their own room and everything. So, yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think I would go back. Yeah. Given all of its shortcomings with like parking and things like that, I still think I would probably go back.
Yes, I think I would too. And that is that for Weebcon 2023. That was our experience. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. I'm Natalie.
And I'm Jared.
And yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. Yeehaw.
Yeehaw.